Hi, I'm Representative Jim Marshall from the 14th District in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. And I'm here at the 98th Annual Farm Show with Secretary Greig to talk about ag issues in Pennsylvania. Mr. Secretary,
welcome.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. So this is the 98th Farm Show. What's different about it this year than in the past?
Oh, there's always something new and exciting at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. This is the 98th, of course, and this year's theme is Pennsylvania Farms Growing for You. We also have the butter sculpture this year, which is representing the 60th anniversary of the Pennsylvania Farm Show milkshakes. And the big story is we have 3 young ladies serving milkshakes who have been here all 60 years.
Wow, that's terrific.
One of them started when she was 21, one when she was 24, and one when she was 30. So they are 81, 84, and 90 years old. But they're up there serving milkshakes, and they're loving every minute of it. We had them in the governor's box with the governor for the opening ceremony and recognized them in their volunteer work. Here at the Farm Show, we have many, many volunteers that work the booths and are here to help make this show possible. We couldn't do it without them. Every commodity is represented here. Every commodity that's grown in Pennsylvania or produced in Pennsylvania is represented here. We have honey, we have maple syrup, we have apples, dairy products of all kinds, and dairy animals and all other animals here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I stopped by and visited some friends from Beaver County and also from Lawrence County that have their animals here, and I did see the butter sculpture. Everybody's talking about the dancing cows this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, 60 years ago, rock and roll was at its height, so they have the cows. The butter sculpture has the cows, and they're doing their rock and roll dance.
That's great. What's new legislatively? What's in the works for 2014 for agriculture?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for eliminating the inheritance tax on family farms. That was huge for Pennsylvania agriculture. It helps us to transition, into the next generation, and before there have been many people that have had to sell part of the farm or borrow large sums of money just to pay the inheritance tax. And so now this will make it easier for the next generation to transition into farming. Also, the high tonal bill, which was just passed, has been great. It will be great. It's going to level the playing field for Pennsylvania agriculture. It keeps in other states, property tax or the high tonals were exempt from property tax, and so this will level the playing field for Pennsylvania farmers.
Fortunately, I was pretty aware of that legislation.
Okay.
My senator is Elder Vogel and chairman of the Ag Committee in Senate, and my good friend John Marr, chairman in the House. And
yes.
I know that we discussed that quite a bit, and I had the opportunity to visit some local farms back home that utilize high tunnels, and certainly very important legislation.
I think you'll see more and more, in fruit and vegetable production, and also hay and commodity production. Farmers will be using those more and more now because of that legislation. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, the transportation funding, that was big for agriculture because $500 billion worth of ag products travel across Pennsylvania every year. And aside from the retail part of it, when farmers are transporting their crops from the field to their homes for storage, in some cases because of weight limits on some of the bridges and some of the roads, they've been forced to travel 2 and 3 times as far as they needed to because of the road weight restrictions.
And quite a lot of the funding goes to local municipalities and counties to help maintain their roadways. They certainly can't rely on liquid fuels as the
That's
vehicles
right.
become more and more efficient.
Yeah, Dirt and Gravel Roads program was also expanded in that legislation, which is great for the rural areas. Also, low volume road were funded in that too, so that's also good for farmers in rural areas.
It's certainly good to get the product out there, especially when we're talking about Pennsylvania preferred produce. And I like seeing back home not only our county fairs that promote that, but also farmers markets. And we appreciate that.
That's another good point. You know, you were able to make PA Preferred the permanent branding program for Pennsylvania ag products, and you know, before that law went into effect, every time there was an administration change, our trademark would change, and that means that the consumers would have to refocus on the new trademark and gain confidence in that. So this is a great thing for Pennsylvania agriculture and helping to you know, encourage locally grown food.
It's very important. We also need to encourage young people to participate in that program and to learn more about agriculture as an industry, not only because it's Pennsylvania grown and Pennsylvania sold, but because it's such an important industry in Pennsylvania.
It is, and I'm very uplifted with the number of youth that are involved in Pennsylvania agriculture. Here at the Farm Show, we had the FFA 85th Midwinter Convention, and we had 6,000 FFA students. We also have the 4-H Council here with a huge number of 4-H people involved. So the governor spoke to the FFA convention, and it's just been great to see the youth of Pennsylvania starting to get involved in agriculture.
It certainly is. I had 50 FFA students here today. They've been here for a few days at the Farm Show, and they had a cider press operation. And then today they had a tour of the Capitol, and I was fortunate to be able to join them. And they're off to the museum today to learn about Pennsylvania's rich history. So I'm glad to have FFA students from way out in Beaver County to come up here to the Farm Show. So thank you very much, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you for all you
Appreciate
do
that.
for agriculture.